Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Physician in the Kitchen. I'm your host, Dr. Monique, the plant-based board-certified family physician known as a physician in the kitchen. I help people discover, cook, and eat delicious plant-based foods because my mission is to fix America's health one plate at a time. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I enjoy taking well-known dishes, either recipes from your childhood or your favorite restaurants, and show you how to veganize or plant-base them. Today, we're going to do that with pasta. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make homemade pasta from scratch, along with a delicious tomato sauce or gravy. And did I mention the pasta is only 2 ingredients? 1, 2. That's right. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Once you make it, you're going to let it rest and then put it in some boiling water, and voila, you have homemade pasta. Now, believe me, I get it. Life be lifing sometimes, and if you need to buy packaged pasta, there is no shame, there is no judgment. But in today's episode, I want to show you just how easy it is. We're going to peel back the veil, demystify, show you how easy it is to make pasta from scratch, plant-based, no egg, 2 ingredients, and also how easy it is to make a delicious and aromatic tomato sauce to go with it. But before we do that, be sure to do all the things. Click like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell so that you never miss out on any of our plant-powered content. So we're going to be using semolina flour, and if you're not familiar, it is high in gluten as well as protein, which makes it ideal for making things such as bread and also pasta. As I mentioned, it does contain gluten, so if you have gluten sensitivities or prefer not to eat gluten, you may just want to watch this one or share it with someone who does eat gluten. So, enough talking. Let's get to cooking. So, as promised, the 2 ingredients for our pasta is the semolina flour and some warm water. Okay, one thing I love about this recipe is it allows me to use some gadgets. So I am going to use my stand mixer and a couple of attachments to help me bring this recipe together. So first we're going to start by just adding the flour to our bowl. And then we're going to add the warm water. Okay, so we're going to turn it on low and slowly add our water. Let that mix for about a minute till we start to get a little crumbly dough forming. Okay, so you see how that's starting to come together? It's nice and shaggy. We call that shaggy looking. Okay, then next we're going to switch out our paddle for our dough hook and let this do all the work. So we're gonna let this go for a few minutes, about 3, 4, 5 minutes till we get a nice smooth dough ball, and then we'll be ready to go to the next step. Okay, it's starting to come together, but it's looking a little dry. So we're gonna add a little more water to it. So what we're gonna do to kind of help this along is gonna take it out of our bowl for just a minute here, and we're gonna knead it by hand on our clean countertop. So we're gonna knead this to give our dough hook a little bit of a hand here, but it's starting to form that spongy. What we're looking for is gonna be like Play-Doh when we finish, so it's getting there. And then we're gonna let it hydrate for about 20 minutes. So now that it's come together in a ball, I'm gonna just pop it back in the mixer here. It just needed a little help. Sometimes the hook, at least I find with mine, the hook needs a little help kind of sometimes engaging all of the ingredients. So, but as far as the actual work of doing the kneading, I'm gonna let the hook do that. Okay, make sure your bowl is raised. There we go. All right, so it's time now to take our dough out. Okay, so now I have finished kneading my dough. I took it out of the bowl and did a little bit by hand on the counter here, dusted it with some semolina flour, a little bit more. And what you're looking for is it should feel like Play-Doh, and when you press your thumb in, it should slowly come back. So that's the texture we want. So now we're going to let this rest. So what I'm going to do is actually wrap this in some plastic and let it rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. All right, we're going to cover her up, and this is just to let our dough fully hydrate. And then we're going to put it in the refrigerator and come back and get it in about 20 to 30 minutes and make some pasta. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes. Our dough is nice and chilled and hydrated, kind of dewy like your skin should be. And now what we're going to do is section this out into 4 portions, roughly about the same size, because now we are going to use one of my gadgets. Now you guys know I am a kitchen gadget junkie, and this recipe is like just ideal for checking off that box. Don't ask me where I found this. I don't know. But I think I got this in culinary school because we had to actually make pasta while I was in culinary school. So, all right, so now that we've got our pasta stand set up, let's go ahead and make our pasta. Just gonna put this through add a little flour here, keep it from being sticky. So when your dough is right, see how my hands are not getting messy. You could use gloves for this, but if you've got the right moisture to flour ratio, your dough should not be sticky. Again, we're going for like that silly putty texture. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna do it one more time. If it breaks, then I'll know not to do that the next time. But let's see. That looks good. Okay. I think that's gonna be good. All right, let me do the rest. All right, so we've got our sheets rolled out, and now we're gonna switch out the attachment and put on the spaghetti maker. Again, if you don't have this, you would just roll this into sheets and use a nice sharp knife to cut your ribbons, and I'll show you that in a second. So here, see, it tells you spaghetti. They have other ones that make like fettuccine and different, so basically you can change the shape of your noodle, but we're going with spaghetti here. All right, so let's go ahead and make some spaghetti noodles. And I've already got my water boiling. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this right from here straight into the boiling water because this pasta fresh like this only needs about 2 to 3 minutes to cook. All right, so we've got our pot of boiling salted water and we're gonna just drop our noodles in and they're gonna break up and loosen up. So I've just got salt in here. We're gonna cook this for a couple of minutes and then it'll be ready for our sauce, or as they call it, gravy. Okay, and you can see how this is already starting to float. That's letting you know this will be ready soon, and how our strands do come apart here. So the fact that they stuck together like that tells me my dough might have been a little too moist, because ideally they should come out separate, but that tends to kind of correct itself in the hot water. But there we go, homemade spaghetti. And again, this is not going to take long to cook. And this is just 2 ingredients. Remember, all this is our semolina flour and some water. And we've got some salt in the water here. 2 ingredients. How easy is that? Look how beautiful those strands are. So we're going to give this about another minute or so to cook, and then we will do the rest. Now, I'm using a pasta spoon here because well, first, I'm not done cooking, but also too, you don't want to pour your water out because you may need that pasta water. You might want to add it to your sauce because it helps your noodles get coated better. So don't throw away your pasta water. Drain it. Drain your noodles, but don't throw it away till you're done making your dish. All right, so that's the last of our mixer made or attachment made noodles, and I'm going to show you how to do it if you don't have that attachment. All right, let's go ahead and add this to the rest of our pasta here. All righty, look at that. Look at the beautiful spaghetti. Look, look, look. Homemade, 2 ingredients. And of course, if you want to do flat noodles, you can do that too. It's all about the shape of your cut when you're using it, or if you're using the attachment. So then of course you can use this to make your own pasta sheets as well. I showed you if you want to make lasagna. So lots of different things you can do. Okay, so say you don't have the stand mixer with the fancy attachments, but you do have a rolling pin. Then you can still do this. So what we're going to do, I've saved a little piece to show you. So we're just going to kind of roll it into a ball here. Again, see how nice and clean my hands are. And my dough is the perfect consistency. So now we're just going to kind of roll it out. So this may give you a little bit more of a rustic look because you're doing it by hand. But hey, homemade is best made in my opinion. So I'm going to just finish rolling this out. And then we're going to use our knife to cut it into the strips or the noodles. Okay, so I've rolled out my little piece of dough here. And now I'm going to just kind of roll. And this is I don't know, maybe, see, it's not very thick, right? Because again, we're making noodles here, but you adjust that for however you want it to be. If you want big fat noodles, then you do you. So we want this to be nice strips. So, of course, the bigger you make it, the longer your strips are going to be, or your noodles are going to be. So we're just going to kind of fold this over a couple of times. In fact, let me do it this way. 3.5 or so. All right. And then I'm just going to now cut my noodles. Okay, we're going to use a little more flour here to keep this from sticking. I don't want the pieces to, I should have done this first. Don't want the pieces to stick on each other because we want them to unfold once they've been cut. So I'm going to use my dough cutter here. You can of course use a knife, and you just want to cut it. Let's turn it this way. These are going to be noodles, so they're going to be fairly thin. So again, this is more that rustic look because these are not as thin, of course, as what you buy in the store. And let's just take a quick look and see how these are coming along. So these are going to be short because I'm not working with a long piece, but that's basically our noodle there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and we'll be back on the other side. Okay, guys, so when I say rustic, I do mean rustic. These came out looking more like fettuccine noodles that have experienced some things in their lifetime. But hey, that's why I use the kitchen gadgets. But hopefully yours will come out much more, spaghetti-like. But hey, that's okay, because at the end of the day, it is going to taste the same deliciousness. But in full transparency, I was a little bit on the struggle bus using the knife. So oops, we lost one. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and pop these into the boiling hot water. All right, folks. So we inadvertently made some fettuccine noodles. So we're going to go ahead and take them out. So see how these came out flatter? And that's probably because I squished my dough too much. If you keep it loose, you'll get rounder noodles versus when you flatten it, you get flatter ones. So there you go. Yeah, I meant to do that. Yeah, that's it. Guys, you can't take yourself too seriously in the kitchen. So like I said, though, it's going to taste just as delicious when you put it in your mouth. So don't sweat the small stuff. All right, let's go ahead and make a quick tomato sauce. Again, easy to make from scratch. You control the salt, no preservatives, no excess added sugar. Let's do it. While our pasta is cooking, let's go ahead and be making our sauce. We're just going to heat some olive oil. So we've got some minced garlic that we're going to cook just till it becomes a little fragrant. Okay, then we're going to add in our seasonings. So now we're going to add in our fennel. And I'm using herb de Provence, which is basically a combination of several herbs, including dried basil, a little more fennel, marjoram, parsley, rosemary, and tarragon. If you don't have this, that's fine. If you have oregano, perfectly fine to use. I'm actually out of oregano, so I'm using what I've got. And what we're doing here is just what we call blooming the spices, letting them cook through, warming them up. And this is great, especially if you have some spices that you've had for a while. It helps to kind of revive them and makes your kitchen smell like a restaurant. All right, now that we've done that, pretty much we're just coating everything together. We're going to add our canned tomato sauce. And I am using, turn it down, I'm using no salt added here. So if you are using sauce that has salt, you want to be mindful of that when you add, if you add any extra salt at all. And so speaking of that, we're going to add in salt and pepper, a little more spices. And then we're going to just let this simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes. And, tomatoes, what we're doing is we're cooking off that tinny taste of the can. Some people add a little bit of sugar here. If you do that, that's fine. It's still going to be a lot lower than the sugar that you get in the store-bought formula. So if you are going to add a little sugar here, just be mindful of that. But it's still healthier than what you buy in the store. They have a lot of added sugar. So doing it yourself is better and healthier for you. Our sauce is looking good. It's going to cook a little more. Let these flavors come together. But the garlic, my fennel, oh my goodness, this is so good. This is delicious. So we're going to let it cook a little more, and then we will put everything together and it'll be time to eat. All right, let's give this sauce another quick taste. It's been cooking for about 5-6 minutes. My goodness. All right. I think we are ready to toss our spaghetti. Let's go ahead and put our basil in here. Turn this heat off. Basil is very fragile. You don't want to cook it directly, so I'm going to just let that fold in toward the end of your cooking time here. You don't want to lose the flavor of that basil. All right. Now let's go ahead and add just a little bit of the pasta water here. That's going to help the starches from the pasta water. It's going to help coat our noodles. And let's go ahead and add in the spaghetti. Let's go ahead and give this a toss. Get our pasta. And add in some more spaghetti. Just want to get that perfect pasta to sauce ratio. Pasta to sauce ratio. There we go. Give that a toss. You can actually put a little olive oil in here too if you want. There we go. Oh yeah. All right, let's plate this up and give it a taste again. All right, everybody, it's time for my favorite part of every episode, and that's the tasting. So I've gone ahead and garnished this with a little bit more basil and also some grated vegan Parmesan cheese. So let's give it a taste. Smells amazing from all those spices we used. You got to do the twirl to get the perfect bite. You can thank Lady and the Tramp for that. This is so delicious. Homemade, fresh, aromatic, all the spices, all the herbs that you think of when you think of a tomato sauce without the added sugar, excess salt. Pasta is cooked al dente. This is delicious. I'm gonna take another bite, but first, I want to tell you guys, if you make this, please be sure to tag me. Let me know at Physician in the Kitchen on all socials. Tag me, let me know how it came out for you. But I want you to see how you can make your own spaghetti and sauce at home. And again, no judgment. If you have to use prepared spaghetti, no problem. But at least you can make your own sauce, because with just a few simple ingredients such as canned tomato sauce and some spices you likely already have in your pantry, you're good to go. And it's a great way to get in the kitchen with the kiddos and just have some fun. So until next time, I'm Dr. Monique, known as the Physician in the Kitchen, telling you to keep it 100. Plant-based, that is. Eat well.